Hari Om.
Hari Om everyone. We are introducing Saints of Bharat, Vanamali Mataji, and that's my guru. I call her Ma. Whatever we share, whatever we do, it's only because of my guru, her knowledge, which is coming throughout to all of y'all. And what is bhakti is what I've experienced from my guru. For the first time, by the grace of my guru, we are going to ask questions about Ma. Ma is an author who has written books, got all that knowledge for people like us. Ma, please tell us about your journey.
What journey?
How it started, and Ma, what is a life of a saint?
I cannot tell you where it started because it must have started for many, many lifetimes before. It didn't start in this lifetime. Many lifetimes ago. I was with Krishna Bhakta, I must have been, for many lifetimes. And I was born in a family of Krishna Bhaktas in the Krishna town of Guruvayur. I was not born there, but my family is from there.
Ma, what was the calling? Because generally, when we live, we go, we work, we die. But Ma, in whatever little I know about you, there has been a journey which, out of millions or trillions, only one, two, or four of the great rishis go through. So, what is that journey? How are we called for such experiences?
I don't know, nothing is in my hands. Everything was directed by Vanamali, as you know, because Vanamali is one of the names of Krishna, which has always been with me. I don't know why. It must have come from some past experience. So it was a calling which was ever there. And I was always, every day I used to go when I was in Trichy. I was married and staying in Trichy. My children were born there. Every morning I would go to the Krishna temple there and I would have continued there for the rest of my life, maybe, except by the grace of God, my husband got up one day and left me, and he divorced me, and he married someone else, and I was free. That was the greatest thing that happened to me. So I decided to pack up my trouble. I took one little bag. No, I'm sorry. I waited. I waited till my daughter got married. After she got married, then I had nothing more because my son was in the. I put him in the school, this Pilani, Swiss Pilani. So I just took one bag and walked out of the house all the way up to Arunachal Pradesh. And there I had a friend who gave me a job in the tribal school. The Vivekananda Kendra was running a tribal school in Arunachal Pradesh. And that journey was something, it's only because of him. How could I, at the age of 43, I think I was, I left everything I had, my dogs, my house, my everything, just walked out with one bag. Then, and journey first on a train, then on a bus, and the final journey, if I remember, was on a truck in the night. Because by the time we reached Jairampur, it was dark, which was pitch dark, and of course the electricity there is very poor. So there was pitch dark, and it arrived there in this strange place, and they took me inside, and that was an amazing experience. I was there for over a year, teaching tribal, children.
Ma, how do we know that we have to leave, walk on the path, and how do we know that Vanmali is calling us? How, what was that? Because my leaving, we can't even leave our family for half an hour. But that calling to leave everything, how it happened?
I mean, but with my husband, I was so grateful to him. He left me, so I had nothing more to give. And something which everybody will think was a terrible thing to happen, especially in those days, to a woman, poor woman. She's deserted by her husband. What to do now? What will she do now? That was a turning point. Vanmali only organized the whole thing. I never did anything. I never asked. I never did anything. But off he went. And then, and he, after and so I waited till my daughter got married, of course, with some responsibility to her. After that, I had nothing left. So what was it? Boy, I could just go.
More than having nothing behind, no family, no money, no relationship, how the journey happened from there to Rishikesh? What was the driving force, Ma? Because here we are so worried about our next day, and such a life that has happened, which has given so much information to people all over the world. How do we know, Ma, and how do we know that what needs to be done next? And in your case, Ma, how did Rishikesh come? How did the
I didn't know
ashram come?
anything. I didn't know anything. How do I? All I knew was that I had a job in Jairampur. That my friend had arranged it for me. But that journey, how could any woman take that alone if it had not been absolutely guided by Vanamali? How? And I had no fear. Absolutely no fear. I mean, what will I do? What will I do? Will they meet me? Somebody was supposed to meet me in Tankusia or something.
Yes.
That. And he was supposed to take me. And then when we went there was no bus, there was no car, there was nothing. And only a truck. And I sat on top of the truck and in the middle of all vegetables and God knows what. And that made this journey there. And it was pitch dark. No lights, no nothing. I must say my heart dropped a bit, but I survived. It was a very good experience. It was a tapas. It was a real tapas. It was because there was no place where you could buy vegetables. There's nothing there. It was a military encampment, and you could go to the military canteen, and get something. But otherwise, a vegetable vendor will come. If it was bitter gourd, it was bitter gourd for 1 week. If it was lady's fingers, it was lady's fingers 1 week. If it was pumpkin, it was pumpkin for 1 week. It was a great tapas. So whatever I got, I was so grateful for to God. Whatever was there, so grateful.
Ma, how did the journey from there till Vanamali Ashram happen? How did Vanamali Ashram come into it?
So then after that, my sister was getting very worried about me. Hardly any conversation or anything, So it was not the time for, there was no telephones or something. So she was very worried. Then then what happened? Oh yes, before that my son had a holiday. So I asked him to come. So poor fellow, how he came, there's another big journey for him. He also traveled by also weird ways and reached there. Then he saw how I was living. I was living on the verge of very bare minimum things were there. So he wrote to my sister. That's what happened. He wrote to my sister and said, "You have to rescue my mother. She's not in a very good position." So my sister wrote to Mohan, and Mohanji took leave, and he came there. And he said, so I said, can you help me to find a place where I can set up, some place which I can do my own sadhana. So we went all over the Himalayas in the bitter winter, carrying all my worldly possessions in one bag. Then first we went to Himachal, because I loved Himachal so much, but they wouldn't allow me to buy any land. Then I didn't want to come to Rishikesh, because I didn't want to come near people where people would be coming from Kerala and people would be asking this and questions. I didn't want. So we went all over and didn't find any place. Eventually came to Rishikesh with Shivananda Ashram only. And here again we had a lot of problem, because somebody made us to buy one land there, and it was only when we went to register, we had already given half the money, and no money. Poor Mohanji actually gave all his savings. So I had very little money, so we gave half of that to this man. Then we went to register in Terry. Then we were told, this is a Harijan property, you cannot buy it. So even that money was gone. That was the first time I really cried. Then I said, oh my God, why have you deserted me like this? Why have you brought me all this way if you didn't want me to have, what am I to do now? Then of course then we came to, again we had no idea how to at that time when we passed that road, there was nothing here, nothing there. There was only one tea shop. Then this you couldn't see this property because it's all trees and nothing here. So I told Mohanji, there must be some property behind that. Let's ask this tea shop man if he knows. So he said, don't be stupid. How can we just go and ask a tea shop man if you? I said, never mind, let's go and ask. So we asked the tea shop man, and he was a very grumpy old man. He said, he didn't say anything. Then we walked off, and then he had a son-in-law. His son-in-law came running after, behind, and said, "Stop, stop! I heard you say that you wanted that. It is my mother-in-law's land, actually. If you're interested, I will let you know." But and he happened to be working in telephones. He was in the telephone department. So then, but Mohan had no time. Also, it was getting to winter. So he said, I'll try and let you know. So we had to go back. I had sworn I'll never go back to Kerala again. Unfortunately, I was forced to go back and eat humble pie to my mother and so many who had all foresaw that I would come back, that I would not do anything. Anyway, that was very good for my ego, no doubt. Then suddenly one day this man telephoned to Mohanji and said, "If you want this thing, come immediately." So immediately we went and got this land, and then somehow, I don't know how we got a little bit of money. Mainly, it was we got it very cheaply, 30,000. This property was worth. And then we stayed in Sachadam now below. And when it started, every day, 4 times a day, I would walk up and down, from Sachadam to here. And of course, the design, of course, is mine. And then again, when it was almost finished again, it was almost finished, Mohanji came again. And there were no windows, nothing, bitter winter, mid-December. So we had no blankets, we had no clothes, nothing really too, and no money also for that. So again, we kept one sannyasi here and went back. Then again, when summer came, I came back and started. Then I didn't know, very, very basic. I was here. Then Mohan said, I don't mind coming. I'll leave and come in. I would love to come and help. I don't mind coming, but of course, all his people were also against it. So he said, if you can find some method, we should be able to buy at least the basic necessities for food. So I went to the Omkaranda, and he said, yes, we need somebody. And he, even then at that time, again, he was in a very, this thing, he came, they gave 600 rupees salary for him. And we lived on that. Then I said, look, the only way I think I better start taking classes and start some retreats. And we were the first one to start a retreat, like, with a proper this thing, meditation, diet, puja, pranayama, everything. It was even today, the first batch of people who came for those retreats, even today they keep in touch. And it was a very amazing thing. And then somehow, and again we have managed to get and made 2 small little rooms there, very small, so that we could ask people to come and say. And first person to come in was Arvind Berger. He was wandering around all over India, going from guru to guru to guru, in Sarkadat, Maharaj, everybody. He had seen everyone. And he said he was in a very bad state when he came into this ashram and said, can I stay? So we said, yes, you can stay. The tiny room. And he said, but I said, you will have to share the room if somebody else comes. Anyway, he was so sweet. He stayed and he went back and wrote in the Yoga Journal. In the International Yoga Journal, he said that this was the best ashram experience I've ever had. And after that, people started coming in droves.
I don't know, people might be knowing or no, but Maa's ashram was mentioned even on the Lonely Planet. And then Ma said to remove it because Ma doesn't like to get commercialized. But what changed my life personally is the writings of Ma. Ma, please talk about the journey, how you started writing.
Writing I started even when I was in Kerala. The first book on Krishna was known as Hare Krishna.
Yes, and there are only 3 copies left, which we will show a picture. That is the first book that Ma has written. Hare Krishna. Ma has written more than 17 books. In fact, there are 20 books. 3 books are going to be launched soon. The Rishis are going to come out. Ma, how did you start writing about all that knowledge of the Rishis, of the gods, and in such a way that even a layman like me can understand? How is that transition happening?
Because it is very easy for me because I didn't make up any story. I only wrote about the gods and they took over. I just sat there, I was only the typist. They took over. Each time I had to do on one god. And they simply took over. That's all I know. But it was a very, what should I say? I was do a double life it was. Because when I was in my room, I was in a world with them alone, whoever I was writing about. Then I came here and it was totally a different people coming, this thing, that thing. So it was like a double life. Inside there, I had a life of my own.
The essence of Bhagavad Gita. Ma is my guru, and I have not read anything, but when I touched the Nitya Yoga, I just transformed completely. Ma, how did the Bhagavad Gita happen? How did you meet your guru? How the calling that Bhagavad Gita is the way to spread? How?
The Bhagavad Gita was first introduced to me by Swami Chinmayananda. That was when I was in college, in the age of 16, before marriage, before everything.
So, during school life only that urge was there?
No, yeah, because my at the age of 10 or 12, my birthday present from my father was a Bhagavad Gita. They were highly great bhaktas, Krishna bhaktas, both of them. Yeah. So my first guru Bhagavad Gita was definitely Swami Chinmayananda. And I knew him personally very well. Yeah. Everywhere he went, even when he was in Chennai, he used to come for. Always he would call me and I would go with him. Wherever he went, he would take me with him. And he even said that you join this thing and I will take you anywhere you want. Wherever I go, I'll take you. But my parents were totally against it.
What happened, Ma, when you heard the Gita for the first time? Or what happened when the knowledge of Bhagwan started coming?
That Gita definitely was a very powerful experience when you heard. And Swamiji was a very powerful speaker. He was so eloquent and so forceful. It was like a jolt. I mean, when I first heard his explanation of the Gita, it was an amazing situation for me. Amazing. Then at that time only, after that only, I made my first visit to the Badrinath with my parents at the age of 16. And we had to go walking from Pipalkoti, from Pipalkoti up to Badrinath. That was another amazing tapas, which I'm so grateful for. And, and there was just walking, and there were a lot of sannyasis would be there, and they will tell some stories, and I'll go with them because my parents ran like rabbits. They were very fast. I was very slow, plodding. And with these sannyasis and these people, we were talking to them and watching the river and the birds and the stones, and it was so wonderful. And I prayed at that time, one day I shall come back and live in the Himalayas. But that day came only about 40 years later, almost 40 years. So how time, the Kala Chakra, how it works, Kala Chakra, slowly works. We are not in control. Everything happens due to his wish.
Ma, all my questions were answered when I met you, my guru. How was meeting your guru, man? How was your thirst, Ma? How did you know that the encounter with your guru is going to? How was it, Ma?
Well, when I came to Rishikesh, after I came to Rishikesh, I was desperate for guru. Of course, though Nanda was my guru, but he had not given me a diksha or anything. So Rishikesh is the place for gurus. Thousands of gurus were. So I was desperate to get a guru. I couldn't even sleep. I'd get up and start crying and weeping and asking Bhagwan, I want a proper guru. I want a proper. Then I tried many. Shivananda place. I asked Chidananda. I don't know. It was very strange. Chidananda, I think what he said was, you have to, they gave me a format, this written this thing. You have to fill in this form. I thought to myself, I'm not appearing for an exam. And you cannot take me as I am. Why should I fill in this form for me? So I gave that up. Somehow the last minute it was stopped. Then at that time when I was really desperate, my own guru, Jayendra Saraswati, mind you, before coming here and starting itself, that was another thing. I had gone to Kanchipuram, and all three were there. That is the Periyawal,
Yes.
Bala Periyawal, and the third one also. All three were there. And the Chandrasekhar Balishwara was on silence. But then I went there and asked him, I want to go to Rishikesh. I want to start this thing. Please bless me. So he just said this. And they all said, that is all you need. You don't need any word from him. You will definitely. Only after that. But even that was all I had. I didn't know about anything more. But then he was passing here, and Mohan told me there, I think Periwal is going past. So I ran after him all the way down. And he's a fast walker. He was already halfway down. I ran and fell at his feet and said, will you come to our ashram? So he looked at me and said, what is the name of your ashram? Anna, Peranna. He was spoken. I said, Vanamali. He said, I'll come. Done. Then when he came back, he came into the ashram, came upstairs. Look, he was, of course, everyone who sees this place is just enchanted. He was so happy. He was staying in the Ananda ashram at that time. So he went there, and somehow I felt he's a person for me. Every morning I go running across this thing to the Ananda ashram for his puja. Every morning I take flowers from here and go and sit with him for puja. They do the linga which has been given by Adi Shankaracharya. So one day, after that, he would have little satsang which people in his own private room. One day I thought to myself, because I was told that he will initiate only Brahmins, he won't initiate anybody else. Then I thought to myself, well, if he refuses, he refuses. If I don't ask, then how will I ever know? So then he was sitting there, some people and all were there. So I asked him, Swami, yeah, he looked at me and said, mantra upadesham kodukuma. You gave me mantra upadesham. He didn't say a word. So I said, finished. Never mind. I just sat there. Then one by one he sent off everybody from that room. On some pretext he sent them all off. And he turned to me and he gave me the mantra. I had not taken, nothing I had taken. Not even a flower I always used to take, and some fruit. But apart from that I had not taken. So he gave me the mantra which I had been using from the time of my birth, I would say, or maybe for many past generations. So same mantra. Then after that I used to, wherever he went, always I tried to be with him whenever, as much as possible. When he in Allahabad, he would let me run. And somehow I'd go alone by train, because we had hardly any money, so we couldn't thought of, going anywhere with nothing was there. Always the minimum expenditure. I used to go everywhere with him for whenever he went anywhere. Then, and to Kanchipuram also many times, whenever he came here also. And one day he came and he was holding this thing there that before going he said, on your ashram, that means I'll come and stay with you in the night in your ashram. Which is unheard of, because they live only in cow sheds or some, big ashram like Nanda or something like that. And they'll never, this is almost like private, it's not a, real public ashram. And they put this thing, he slept right here. That whole night, of course, I couldn't sleep. I was just praying hard. I was so excited, I didn't know what to do. Next morning, before anyone knew about it, because it's not allowed for him also, he said something new. Next morning, before anyone knew also, he left. But he really blessed me, I would say, that time. He placed his foot on my head, and that is supposed to be one of the greatest blessings the Guru can give. So that was a very great thing. And I forgot the main thing was that. As I said, no Dakshina, you see. So after that he went walking on foot. He was walking away to Badri Kedar, and halfway through, I knew before that he was looking for a place to build a temple, and on the other side of the road. Then he kept asking. Then at that time I asked him, Swamiji, would you be okay if it was on this side of the road? In which case we can give from our ashram. He said, Pakala, we'll see. Then on the halfway down, when he came to Devrayag, he called Mohan to go there, and then he agreed. He agreed that he will give. So then he came, took all this thing. Then he brought all the architects, and everyone was from Chennai only. He sent the architects from there, and he got this thing built. Then again, when he went Kalnada Paidal on foot, and he came back with the mud, no, and the prasad and the sand, soil from Badri and Kedar. On foot he had gone on and brought this, and he himself put the first stone and put this foundation stone with this. And then only he sent the architects from there, and they built the. And at first he said it's only a Smriti Mandir. This will no puja, nothing, only this thing. Somehow or other, it happened that he got the saligram from Devrayag Mandir, where nobody was doing puja to it. That saligram was brought, and he put it there. Now, how to keep a saligram? You have to do puja to that. So pujari, and then here for this he got from Varanasi. He got the Shivlinga and brought it and kept it there. So he sent a pujari from there. The pujari was from Tamil Nadu, and he was staying here and doing puja. So it became a full-fledged temple and not a Smriti Mandir as he wanted. After that, things went on like that, that's all.
Even now, we all claim we are very young, but even at this age, Ma is faster than us, and every morning Ma will do a puja and abhishekam in the temple. Ma, who is a guru, Ma? Nowadays, the concept of guru is very different, and the way you're talking about your guru and the way I talk about you, Ma. Who is a guru?
Guru is someone inside you, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma. Sakshal Guru is always the Parabrahma. And Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. You are not bowing to this physical form. I've told you that so many times. Not this physical form. To das Parabrahma, which is in that Guru and in everyone else also. That.
But Ma, Guru is a person who has gone through that.
No, but
because Ma, you, as far as I know, Ma, you had Bhagwan as Guru, but a Guru came, Ma. So who is a Guru? Why do we need a Guru? Because that question is asked by everyone.
Because it's a parampara. Because this knowledge can only, it's a live knowledge. It is not a knowledge we read from books. For everything we need a Guru. You want to become an engineer, you want to become a doctor, can you do it without a teacher? Can you take some books? What are you doing? I'm learning engineering. Rubbish. If you want to learn violin, you want to singing. And this is the most important thing of all. To achieve the supreme. Can you do it on your own by reading books? You cannot. It is always an oral tradition. From mouth to mouth, that's oral tradition. So, someone who has done the path, gone through the path, is absolutely necessary for you to continue on the path.
Ma, you have written so many books. How does that transition happen? Like, Ma, different deities from Shiv to Shakti to Krishna Bhagwan, all are there. In Dwarka, Ma, you have written about your own journey, which I don't know, people know, but Dwarkanath is Ma's own journey. How did that transition happen, Ma? How everything just came out? What was that?
Yeah, I already told you, I did nothing. They themselves took over. I was only the typist.
So, Ma, in Dwarka, while writing about yourself, were you living?
Dwarka was a different thing. Dwarka was That I was there. I was there. I just experienced everything exactly as if I was there. That's why I could describe the place, Dwarka. I could describe the palace, the way that everything, because I was there. Simple as that.
How did you know that it is Krishna Bhagwan only? Why not any other form?
That is a very strange you're asking. How do I know that my finger is my finger? I mean,
How
he's
do,
inside me, he's always there.
how do the deities communicate while writing?
I don't know. They're all there. They're everywhere. They're just by actually by placing material. So I'll get a book. I'll get some this thing or article because I never went to a library actually. Usually people go to libraries and stay there, but I never. But somehow I'll get books are there and some and even those books are not easy to because Shivalila and all, the Shiva Purana and the in Devi it's a huge volumes and it just when I open it I get that material which is and it was in a simplified form which everybody can because nobody is going to read through the whole of Shiva Purana or Devi Purana or the but it just came it just came. I had nothing to do with it. No, absolutely nothing. That's why I've never ever claimed I've never put my name in everything. I've never put my photo also in any of the books. Even though the publisher always asked. Only when they went to America they insisted we cannot print your books without your photo. Only they are the ones who are.
Because if we are writing one book, then it's okay. But more than 15, 17, 20 books, or specific deities, that is not normal,
No, but it was much easier than when you write a novel, you're making up things out of some, I don't know, your own head. I had no head. It was empty. They flowed through that. That was just a typist.
Are you planning on any other books?
Please don't drive me into another book. You are the one who's been driving me into other books. Let me just finish what I have.
What is an ashram? How does an ashram operate and what are your activities in an ashram? Because the concept of ashram has been so wrongly projected on television or anything. What is an ashram?
Ashram is a place of like a hermitage. It's a hermitage, like a place where people can come and not only learn about spirituality, but actually, imbibe the vibrations of spirituality in that place, because that's very important. Because people who come to an ashram it's not just that you just because you're old and you can't do anything else and my children can't look after you. Ashrams were the olden things of old age homes, and people would come and put this thing. It's not that. Actual ashram should be a place where you feel some spiritual vibrations, and they get some sort of a something is there. Some spiritual should be there. Vibrations are there. So that's a very important thing. And you feel at peace. You feel, that something like that should be there in ashram. It's not a nowadays it's a commercial endeavor. All ashrams have turned into guest houses. And I don't know, they don't practice. Because many of the gurus who started the ashrams are wonderful, amazing people. But the quality of the disciples is so poor that they don't follow what the guru has said. And it has fallen. Most of the ashrams have just become guest houses.
Ma, what if I want to come to Vanamali Ashram? What is the routine and what is the time where I can interact with you or meet if someone wants to come?
If someone wants to come, it is only because Vanamali has invited him. I don't invite anyone, for sure.
Any more time where we can come to a sadhana, evening, morning?
Yes, we have morning 8 o'clock, we have puja, evening 6 o'clock, we have meditation and bhajans and so on. At those times, of course, people are welcome to come. Anyone is welcome.
Ma, how did the name Vanamali Maa came and how did this color come?
Vanamali was, I told you I don't know. Vanamali must have been, at the time when started using the word Vanamali, there was nobody used that word. After that, I find Vanamali everywhere. So many have started with Vanamalis. But when I started using it, there was really no. So I don't know. It is his wish again. It's his wish. Because that Vanamala is a garland of wildflowers. Vaijayanti Mala, garland of wildflowers, the 5 wildflowers. So that is what Krishna loved. So one who wears a garland of wildflowers is known as Vanamali. One who wears a Vanamala is called a Vanamali. So he is Krishna.
And Ma, I have traveled with you. I'm very blessed, Ma. And I have noticed, Ma, you have only 3 pair of clothes. This is something personal, but Ma is only purple color, Ma. And we get a lot of questions. Why this color?
Yeah, that's very easy. I've got a standard answer for that one because everybody asks me this. Well, the color of the infinite is blue. That's why we think the sky is blue. Actually, it's not blue, but we say the sky is blue. So the color of the infinite is blue when it comes to our physical eyes, vision. But in transcendence, it is violet. The first color of the spectrum. Vibgyor, violet, indigo, blue. So blue only when it comes into our vision. But in transcendence is violet. So I wanted to catch him in the transcendence. So I decided to wear purple. Moreover, every day that's what you have to decide what color to wear, what to wear. That's very easy. No problem at all.
There's a very powerful spiritual background to the ashram. The ashram is very, very raw. If you see, there are great saints here. All have personal association with Ma. But something very striking is the murti of Bhagwan and a mirror. Ma, can you explain the significance of the mirror, Ma?
Because when you look at what are you looking, what is this murti made out of? It's you alone. The divinity is inside you. When you look at it, you are seeing the divinity where? And this is a temple of God. ये मंदिर है ये ना. This is a temple of God, and the world is also the cathedral of God. That is something we have to understand. We cannot think that he is something separate from us. When we see ourselves. Why? Because he is in us. We are that. Tattvamasi. I am that. What does it mean? Look in the mirror. I am that.
Ma, we have been addressing people around from 18 till 35. Ma, some practical knowledge that you want to give us, that we don't just read theory and apply it also, so that there's a change, and Ma, people want to change, but at the same time, Ma, there is so much blunder about things. Something that takeaway we can take, something very small that we can.
One of the most important things you have to do, first of all, renounce the idea that I am doing something and something. I am not the doer. Why? How do you think I can manage to put in so many things? I mean, at this age, only because I know I don't do anything. He does everything. I always say, how clever you are, how much you do for me. Yeah, that song I love. That's why I love that song. मैं आपकी कृपा से सब काम हो रहा है. That is the absolute truth. That person who wrote that song must have felt exactly as I also feel. आपकी कृपा से सब काम चल रहा है. Nothing you have to do. This is the stupidest thing that people think. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm so tired and I can't do this. I can't do that. It's not possible. I. Who is this I you talk? Why are you carrying this burden of your life when he is there to carry it for you? It's like the donkey. I told you the story of the donkey. The dhobi and the donkey. We are simply unnecessarily carrying a burden, that is why makes life so easy. He does everything. There's nothing which he does not do. I remember that. Nothing.
Ma, last session, Ma. I will ask the rapid fire questions, Ma. May I, Ma? Just 5.
Yeah, of course.
Ma, your first Himalayan yatra that changed you. What was it?
I told you that. 16, at the age of 16, I went to Badrinath.
Ma,
And on Paidal ka,
Paidal.
from Pipalkoti.
Ma, at the earliest age, the first saint that you met.
That was an amazing experience. That in Badrinath. He was actually one of the earliest barristers, London returned barrister. He was, and he was. I don't. There was his. There were 3 brothers. He was the brother of Keshav Menon.
Yes.
The state minister. He was not foreign minister. Whatever. No, defense minister. He suddenly had the call, gave up everything, and went off to the Badrinath. And he was in a tattered little, tinned this thing and he was sitting there. And my father knew it was his brother's schoolmate. So he wanted to meet him. So we made all the trip up there and called him. He called him. I think his name was Mukunda at that time. And one flapping creature came out, tattered and torn. Some sacks were flapping in it. I said, "What is it? What do you?" And then went, "What do you want?" So my father was a very innocent, very sweet person. He said, "Don't you remember?" He said, "I don't remember anybody." So then we brought him, my mother and all, I brought him some, typical Kerala eats like, banana chips. And all that we kept there. He didn't say that. So then as we were going, he said, "You, come here," to me. So he said, "You can come if you want. You can come in the afternoon. I will take you around." I said, yes. I came, and my poor parents, they wanted to sit and nothing to them. They just. So I trotted up there, in a very this thing with a camera hanging on my this thing and all that. So he said, "Throw that away. You are not a tourist here. Remember that." So I didn't dare take a picture. Otherwise, I would have taken a photo of him. He refused. Then he took me all over it must have been an amazing sight. This flapping old man with flapping clothes and no clothes. It was sackcloth. And I trotting around after him, jeans and I don't know what I was wearing. And I don't know what we talked about. He told me a lot of things, I think. It was my first experience of a saint like that, and I was so impressed. And he stayed many, but after that age, it's too much for anyone his body couldn't take it. So he was very sick. He came back to Trichy and he asked me, when he wasn't dying, he asked to see me. I just saw him also. It was just, I'm so grateful for that.
Ma, your experience with Pagal Baba?
Pagal Baba was again. We had gone, he was in Tirunnamalai, and Ram Sarut. So he was staying outside. There was a little old shed. All sorts of things were there, and he was staying in the outside the temple, Tirunnamalai temple. There, actually, which was Aravind who took us there. He said he's saying, "Let's go there." So we went there, and it was amazing. All sorts of rubbish here and there, and a heap of cigarette stubs, and because he was constantly smoking. We went there and sat there for some time. Then he asked, "What do you want from me?" he said. So I said, I want what is it? To get moksha. No, that's not what I said. I said, Brahmatjnana. I want Brahmatjnana. She said, this girl thinks this pagal can give her Brahmatjnana. So stupid. I mean, I cannot give you anything. I can give you only these matchsticks. Then after that, somebody came and brought him some roses. So then when we were ready to go, he took one rose that all of them went for. He gave one rose, and the last rose was over and I had not reached. My heart fell, I was not going to get a rose. He said, come here. So he took something and gave me. And it was a dried up gooseberry. Dried up gooseberry. Apparently, gooseberries and things are what we normally give when you go to see. You are not supposed to give, luscious fruits and stuff.
Yes.
Only dried up stuff you're supposed to give when you are. So he gathered for a long time. I think I had kept it with me. Is this for you? At that time, I didn't understand what he meant, but obviously he meant that I was pet only for a dried gooseberry.
Ma, last question. There are many gurus, Ma, from Papaji to Swami Kriyananda. Ma, any recent gurus that you have encountered recently?
Recently?
Yes, Ma, who have come to the ashram. Very
So
recently.
many, Papaji, all of them are very, wonderful. I've been blessed, in fact, to meet so many who had not only come, but whom I have seen. Shivananda himself, I have seen. Then Brahmananda was another. And then there's another Swamiji. Every time he said, next time I see you, you will be wearing saffron. I said, I'm sorry, I will never wear saffron because I'm not a yogi, I'm a gopi.
I am truly blessed. We are going to come up with multiple episodes. This is going to go on YouTube. People say that there are no saints. I've been living under one of the greatest female saints. There'll be, at the end, we'll put in the caption how to get the books. And Hari Om Tat Sat.
Hari Om. Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhave. Om Shanti Shanti. Loka Samastar Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastar Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samastar Sukhino Bhavantu. Hari Om.